Hello indeed. It's been a while since I last streamed. I know, I get it. I have been a little busy. That's no problem though. Not much has changed ever since I last streamed. How far did we even get? Where are we here? Pivot points have changed. Resistance used to be at like, what was it, 84,500 I think? Or 85 maybe? 84, maybe it was 84,000. I don't remember exactly where. But that's changed now. New resistance one we're looking at for this week is 88,456. If we are indeed able to break out of this downtrend, which I'm going to have to just slightly adjust, we're still under it overall. Looking at the 4-hour chart, super trend has not flipped just yet. So we are still under the influence of this downtrend, which it does indeed seem to be getting weaker each time. So that is indeed a good thing. However, still costing us, and we still might bounce toward the downside. Yeah, I'm on time this time. Isn't that crazy, Bradley? Yeah. So, yeah, that's what we have for, I mean, in terms of where we could be heading, right? I don't think we're going to head higher than 88,000. I really don't think we're going to break the downtrend either. I'm probably calling for a drop. I get it. Maybe we do get a pump. That could be the case as well. I'm not going to discard it, but I just don't think so, and I'm preparing for the worst. If it goes up, good. It does go up, fine. But I'm preparing for a down movement still. There's a bit of divergence compared to M2 supply, of course, ever since I last drew this out to kind of predict where we would be heading. So a bit of divergence here. Could we converge again? We're seeing a large rise, according to what I drew at least. It's probably wrong. But we'll see. I mean, in terms of what the Fed is planning to do, what M2 money supply is looking like these days, it was reaching all-time high levels, and it has kept on increasing, meaning that the bull run will continue well after 2 months. Right now, we're just waiting for a breakout, which we are all expecting to be by May 1st. This week is going to be a short week as well, speaking in terms of the US market. This Friday is Good Friday. Markets will be closed. I'm pretty sure on Thursday it's going to close early as well. I could be wrong. And what is next week? Monday, Easter Monday, I think is going to be open and normal. I could be wrong again. I don't remember exactly. What about if I look up US stock market calendar? Does that exist? New York Stock Exchange holidays and times. So we are on Good Friday, April 18. And then May 26 is the next one. Get out of here, cookies. Yeah, so no, it's going to be open for, what do you call it? Good Friday. I mean, no, for Easter Monday, but Good Friday is going to be closed. Thursday, it doesn't say anything about Thursday, so I think we're good. Market will still be normal, except for Friday. Friday is going to be closed. That's all you got to know. In terms of technical analysis here, a bounce has to be toward the downside from the top, right? I think we do need a little bit more ammo, a bit of more of a recharge before we can see a nice little breakout. And how can we achieve that? Probably by staying under this downtrend, dropping again below 80,000 one more time, just one more time. And then by May 1st, yeah, that happens. We pump and break out from there, hopefully. Anything can happen. Maybe the breakout is right now, right? But this is what I'm expecting, at least from the market. So I have my trigger orders ready down there. If that is the case, then so be it. And if it doesn't drop, that's fine as well. I've got plenty of positions that are in the negative that would appreciate a pump nonetheless. So we'll see what happens. 84,700 for Bitcoin right now, 0% movement. Everything's kind of relaxed today. In the morning, we did see a bit of a rise as well as over the weekend. And that was all due to, I'm just going to pull up the news right now, Trump removing tariffs, all tariffs on Chinese tech products that earn Beijing the most money. So, you know, there was all this talks about, oh, China and the US are going to finally negotiate something. China is asking the United States to completely remove the mutual tariffs, right? US is like, you know what, let's give us a call. We'll talk about it. He's asking Xi Jinping to give him a call. And ultimately, he ended up removing those tariffs. US Trade Representative Greer says that tariff exemptions on electronics reflect a move from reciprocal tariffs to national security tariffs. So now we're getting new tariff categories currently emerging. To sum it all up, right? Saturday, we began with the tariff exemptions. Since then, we started rising. That's practically good news. Of course, over the weekend, the US stock market is closed, so we would have to wait until Monday, today, to see stuff like the NASDAQ start rising, which it did. Companies that have to do with technological stocks like Nvidia, AMD, Intel, all that kind of stuff, were on the rise today. So electronic semiconductors got announced tariff exemptions, then became refunds on all tariffs in these categories dated back to April 5th. They actually did refunds on those. This then became the electronic and semiconductor tariffs that were delayed for a month or two, which then became tariffs that were simply being recategorized, which is now tariffs that are just moving to a different tariff bucket per President Trump. President Trump says that the fake news never knows this, but they refuse to report it. So yeah, weird stuff is happening. Tariff on, tariff off. Plan to roll out tariff exceptions clearly when poorly. What? Letting it contradict Trump, and now Trump is trying to contract the exemption. Am I having a stroke? This is going to be another wild weed in the stock market. Yeah, so it's just nothing new by now. Bottom line is tariff on, tariff off, make market move. That's all you got to know. So yeah, especially this was posted over the weekend, right? We were expecting NASDAQ to rip on Monday, and indeed we did see that after Trump exempted phones, computers, and chips from the tariffs. Rip Apple, by the way. They brought like, what was it, 5,000 iPhones by planes to sell them in the United States to avoid the tariffs before they got in place. Like Trump is just making everybody move in anticipation with all these random tariff announcements. It seems to be changing each time. And yeah, Bitcoin, thanks to that, was on the rise over the weekend. Similarly with Ethereum, we are still in a downtrend, so I do just have to readjust it, but breakout could be imminent soon. Maybe we see another drop. How low can we go? 1,393 for Ethereum. Good support level, though, we have seen so far is right there at 1,576. Current price is 1,619. 0% movement today as well. Solana, a down 2%. It reached a nice high of 136, which is where I have one of my resistance levels. And it has also managed to break its downtrend. Solana, I think, is one of the first coins to do this. Now, this uptrend, it's not practically formed yet. I would expect this to drop so that we would have an extra line to draw an uptrend from here to wherever that new uptrend is going to be. Why am I basing it off like this? First of all, we can bounce off of a couple things. The downtrend, as well as you could call this a support from the pivot level at 119 would be a crucial level. From there, I'm expecting we could use this new uptrend, whatever gets formed. It's not formed yet, right? So I'm just giving you an example. If that does drop there, we could use that uptrend and use it to try to analyze any future movements toward the upside from there. But another thing to point out as well is the important resistance we have at 136. We reached a high of that perfectly. So yeah, if we are managing to break that, we'll see 143 in no time. But for now, I do think we need to bounce from the bottom upwards, right? A drop does have to happen. I feel like it has to. A correction, right? Anything could literally happen. Like Trump could announce like, oh yeah, by the way, we're doing the tariffs again, so market's going to drop. Bitcoin would have to drop below 80,000. Solana, let's hope it doesn't drop less than 119 because that's painful to see, but Solana is a volatile coin and we've seen it. As long as we maintain 114, I think, we should be still maintaining ourselves on that uptrend. Like I said, I'm telling you guys we could drop to 119, but the drop realistically could go to 114 and we would still be technically in an uptrend as long as we don't close the candle below that 114.11. Then things would switch to the downside. XRP is down 1%, $2.11 right now, and similar deal as well. Bouncing off a little bit of this downtrend, hasn't flipped on the super trend. Seems to be only Solana so far, the first one that's flipped over. I haven't analyzed the rest of the coins that I usually do though, Sui, Litecoin, and Cardano, so I'll get to those in a second. Although I doubt Litecoin or Cardano did anything special over the weekend. I haven't analyzed it too much, just to say the least. In terms of a drop for XRP, where am I expecting it at $2? $2 is a perfect point. It's the pivot, and it is also a psychological level. $2. Come on, right? Matter of fact, I'm going to draw it. If my menu would open, it opens for like 1 second, and then I click it again, and it disappears. 23. Yes, it's exactly what I wanted. There we go. $2. Okay. Not too bad for XRP. In terms of a breakout, though, I do like this potential 12% increase if we reach 239. Although I doubt it. I really doubt it. Super trend is, it's like coinciding with the downtrend, so the bounce toward the downside is necessary, I think. Worst case scenario, 175. That's all I could see for XRP. Sui is 217. Yep, okay, there you go. Sui did break its downtrend as well. So it is also forming a new uptrend, and it's doing, I think, kind of what Solana was, I was showing you with Solana there, making its movement toward the downside to then bounce forward once again. How far low can it go, though? We're already approaching 213. That's the first pivot point. Realistically, though, like I say, we could be fine around this level, 197. You'd still be in an uptrend for Sui, and we can draw our new uptrend from there to wherever, you know, wherever we drop. If it does drop to 197. If we go below, we'll close down below that. We're still within our downtrend, which is no problem either. Most of the altcoins are. And lowest point we could see is hopefully 184. I do not want to see the support level, nor this. So, yeah. That's what we're expecting for Sui. Sui's got great movement, had a great recovery to $2.41 from a low of 171. If you did manage to buy that dip, which, by the way, I did, that is a 40% increase, so that's not too bad. Great recovery from Sui. I think Sui is just one of the best performing altcoins, even during this time of trial and tribulation. $77.26 for Litecoin right now. Clashed with that resistance at 79. Would you really call it 79 or 80? I'm going to move this to 80. It makes more sense. It's a psychological level, and it makes sense, right? Support, breakout of the support toward the downside. Now support becomes resistance, and we bounced off of that a couple times. Currently struggling to break it. We are still technically in a downtrend. I have this big line over here. So I'm assuming Litecoin would underperform for a while, until we eventually do break out, which that could take us till 19th of April. Or maybe, you know, if we do continue dropping, which I am expecting, I feel like Litecoin would suffer a larger drop, all the way down to maybe 67. And with that, the super trend would also decrease following the down movement of Litecoin. Then we could see a level around, I'm assuming like random number, 77, till we could break out of the downtrend and start moving upward. Break out of the downtrend, break out of super trend. You flip green, and you would be looking at 87. Why is this 87? Whatever. Oh, I have another line drawn here. That's why 87. Yeah, 87 would make sense. It would give us some time as well. We do need some time for these new pivot points to generate. So yeah, we've got to wait at least a week. During this week, I would expect a drop. That's what I'm seeing for most of these, at least. Cardano, what is even going on? Alright, I'll draw a downtrend. No, I literally can't. Like, it's impossible to draw one here. There's just nothing going on. You can't draw an uptrend, you can't draw a downtrend. What do you do? Support at 50 cents. That's something you could see. Fibonacci maybe I could draw. Not $50, 50 cents. There you go. Maybe a little higher. Whatever. It's just a general zone. You don't gotta pay too much attention to it. It's got a longer term downtrend, that's for sure. And, I mean, that could take a while to break. So, wouldn't count on it. In terms of... Okay, this is obviously our highest point. This is obviously our lowest point. We are headed to the upside. We want to see where we can see some resistances. So you draw a fib sequence like that. Just want to make sure I got the exact pinpoint levels, because I don't want to mess up and give random numbers here. So that seems to be correct. First resistance, that makes sense, right over here at 66 cents with 83. And from here, it looks like we're slowly decaying to this point at 60 cents. Good psychological level as well. And a breakout of 68 would be important to confirm an uptrend. From there, we could draw whatever this low point is at 51 cents. I think I'm going to change this to 51. Yeah, it makes more sense at 51, right? Right. Perfect. 51 cents, sorry. Not 50. And then from there, similar deal to literally every other altcoin. Wherever the price drops to, we'll use that as our next support, next leg up to continue heading upwards. From there, we'll form a new uptrend. It'll have to be formed. All altcoins have broken their uptrends, most of them, and are in bear territory. There's no doubting that, right? We're very far from our all-time high levels. Bitcoin, though, its dominance is high. There's more trust in it, and it's not that far off from 110,000. We're 84,000 right now, right? So we still got time. And we've seen how fast Bitcoin rises. Once Bitcoin does its movements, then people will start looking at the altcoins. If you want to get into it early, I think it's a good time still. Bull run has not ended, my opinion. So, yeah. What I'm doing is just DCAing for now. That's why I don't have anything in the account over here for trading with my bot. Anyways, there you go. That's your technical analysis. I feel like I'm getting a little better at it. I don't know. I want to talk about this coin, Mantra OM, that I think I have traded in the past. Maybe live. Trading workbooks. VST might have been. Did I delete everything? I really hope I didn't. No, I didn't. Okay. I may or may not have OM. What am I looking at? Where is this moving? Okay, OM slash. Yeah, there it is. Hey, look, I hit a take profit too. Was this when I was doing 1-to-1? I think it was. I was doing 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio at this time with volume-weighted average price and RSI to determine if something was oversold. You go against the trend. A pullback kind of strategy is what it was. Those very, very early days. July 4 of last year. It's how long I've been doing this, right? June last year. Okay. But yeah, I can't believe I have that memory. That's crazy. Mantra OM was being traded last year. Okay, anyway, that's all I wanted to flex. And hopefully you got out of that. It crashed 80% in 1 hour. It's totaled up to 90% by now, practically. Let me go find it on CoinMarketCap. Is it trending? It's not even trending. Why am I signed out? Whatever. Okay, well, thanks for the 50 notifications. It's seriously not trending? Why is it not trending? Am I blind? Mantra's co-founder says OM crashes 90% overnight, not caused by the team. I would like to read this article nonetheless, so I'll reopen it here. And I'll read you guys what I have about it so far. So this was posted by their team on their whatever chats. Is this Telegram? Pretty sure it is Telegram. There's a message posted by Mantra community leader Dustin McDaniel, who downplayed the allegations that the Mantra team sold. People are thinking, oh, this is a big rug pull. You guys just scammed everybody, right? Oh, we do have it here. It's still down another 27%. Look at that. Ignore that noise, right? Pretend you're just trading this normally. Oh, yeah, cool. A down movement. Oh, I could see a bit of an uptrend here. And then boom. That is crazy. Oh, okay, that is a big drop. From what to what? $6 to not even $1. Like 60 cents right now. Yeah, that's a 90% drop. There you go. Crazy stuff. So what happened? We'll get into that here. The guy says, by the way, when people started posting this in the community channel, like, oh, the team rugged, it's over. We lost all our money if you were invested in Mantra. It was a very popular coin, too. It was in like in the top 90s, probably. This guy replied, the team has not rugged. The team is in Hong Kong. It is 3 a.m. But I can assure you, this is not the team selling, is what he said. And then they deleted their Telegram channel. It just makes things even more suspicious. They posted this on Twitter. after it was roughly $5.5 billion was wiped out from the Mantra market cap in 1 hour. They said the Mantra community, we want to assure you that Mantra is fundamentally strong. Today's activity was triggered by reckless liquidations, according to them, not anything to do with the project. One thing we want to be clear on, this was not our team. So they're just dodging the fact that they weren't the ones who did the rug pulling. They're blaming it on reckless liquidations. I don't even know how that's possible. They said that they're looking into it. They will share more details about what happened as soon as they can. They also showed this over here from Arkham. I think it was Arkham, right? Yes. Before the Mantra crash, since April 7, there were at least 17 wallets that deposited 43.6 million Mantra coins, which is worth $227 million at the time, into exchanges, which is roughly 4.5% of the circulating supply. Its market cap isn't that big, that's why it's placed... What number is it right now? It's probably dropped on CoinMarketCap, didn't it? Can I look up? OM. It's still 92. Why did you do that? I press OM, and I click on it. No, I'm clicking on the wrong thing, am I? Crypto assets. Yes, this is what I'm looking for. So yeah, it's still number 92 miraculously, even after wiping out a lot of its market cap. Why is the chart white? Is it because yeah, that's why. But then this will be disabled. My eyes. Okay, whatever. I'll read that later. Since April 7, 17 wallets deposited $227 million at the time. According to Arkham's tag, 2 of those addresses are linked to Laser Digital. And who is Laser Digital? Is a strategic investor in Mantra. So maybe Laser Digital is behind these reckless liquidations. They're not necessarily part of the Mantra team, right? I'll check out their Twitter as well. Here's what Grok explains. The post says that, yeah, that the 17 wallets deposited that many tokens, which represents 4.5% of the circulating supply, potentially contributing to the 90% crash of Mantra on April 13. This was yesterday, which wiped out from $5.5 to $6 billion in market value. 2 of the wallets involved in the OM deposits were tagged by Arkham Intelligence as linked to Laser Digital, a strategic investor in Mantra since May 2024. That's last year. Though Laser Digital later denied involvement, stating their core OM holdings remained locked and the tagged wallet transfers were unrelated to the crash, according to the block. That's interesting. That's extra information we don't have here. The timing of these deposits, combined with low liquidity during the crash on a Sunday evening, aligns with Mantra's claim of reckless forced liquidations by centralized exchanges, a phenomenon that can amplify price drops when leveraged positions are closed en masse, as seen in past crypto market volatility events. Maybe with the hyperliquid events that also kind of happened, triggered too much of a liquidation, but that was on a decentralized exchange. These are centralized exchanges, right? Yeah, centralized exchanges. So, you tell me, market manipulation? Who knows? Or maybe just reckless. They mentioned this on their newest post. It's pinned to their Twitter. For an update on the latest OM's market movements, please refer to our latest community update from JP Mullen. We'll be providing further updates in the coming hours and days to discuss these events further. We greatly appreciate the support. Believe there's a testament to strong support Mantra has among its investors and community. Remember, don't click on any accounts. Yeah. So we don't really know, right? Nothing yet. They haven't provided a full explanation. So, yeah. Yep, just waiting at this point. This was also posted by JP Mullen. He claims that the OM token crash was triggered by reckless forced closures by centralized exchanges during low liquidity hours on a Sunday evening, UTC. Mullen told the next user they believe one exchange in particular was to blame, but they said they're still figuring out the details. Okay, so that is still yet to be mentioned. We'll figure that out in a couple days. He says that, first of all, team greatly appreciate every support that we received over the past several hours, which we believe is a testament to the strong support Mantra has among its investors and community. Yeah, I already mentioned. Reckless forced closures initiated by centralized exchanges on OM account holders. Timing and depth of the crash suggested a very sudden closure of account positions was initiated without sufficient warning or notice, and it happened during low liquidity hours. Yep, cool. Centralized exchange partners play an important role in providing liquidity to projects like ours. We work closely with them. However, they continue to exercise enormously high levels of discretion. When discretionary powers are exercised with due internal and external oversight, dislocations, like what recently happened, can and will occur, hurting both projects and investors alike. To be clear, this dislocation was not caused by the team. So it was not none of them. They're pushing the blame onto centralized exchanges. They haven't mentioned which one yet. That's all I gotta know. Token wallet addresses are all visible online, so they're trying to say, you know what, we got full transparency. We got nothing to do there. Well, they tell you don't invest in meme coins, invest in utility coins. But hey, nothing is safe, right? Even a utility coin can crash. If you don't know what Mantra does, it's DeFi, something DeFi project. Used to use Ethereum. They made their own blockchain. And yeah, that's all. That's all I really know about them. I could just read it off CoinMarketCap. Oh, there was also this post. Yeah, we know. They issued a statement that it was due to... Okay, the exchange also revealed that since... Let me go for start page. Since the beginning of March, multiple on-chain addresses with similar operation modes have experienced large deposits and withdrawals from various exchanges. OKX has adjusted a series of risk control parameters and added risk warnings on the OM token page. This is the tweet that I read, and according to the data from CoinGlass, the crash resulted in more than $74.7 million in liquidations over the past 24 hours. 10 positions experiencing liquidations that exceeded $1 million. That hurts. That hurts. Just to suddenly lose $1 million on a Sunday. The team denies any rug pull allegations, and yeah. So no word yet as to who could have possibly been behind this. And I was going to read what exactly that they do here. Here it is. Real-world asset layer 1 blockchain capable of adherence and enforcement of real-world regulatory requirements built for institutions and developers. Mantra offers a permissionless blockchain for permissioned applications. Trying to be a bit more decentralized, seems like. Just another utility coin. Built using Cosmos SDK. IBC compatible with Cosmos was... What even is this? Okay. Yep. So that's all you gotta know. Nothing too crazy. Meme coin. Trump meme coin. It's getting another token unlock coming soon, April 18. I think I mentioned it in a previous stream, but yeah, it was just announced that it was going to be unlocked, but the unlock is actually happening on April 18th. It's just confirmed by now. $320 million in tokens will be unlocking soon. That's bad. Investors are down $2 billion since the launch. That is also bad. And selling could crash the price further, which is even more bad. Overall, Trump coin go down. That's all you got to know. I got to put Trump coin in the thumbnail, didn't I? Senate Banking Chair Scott says that major Bitcoin and crypto bills will be passed by August. That coincides with M2 money supply, doesn't it? We're expecting a good bull run to happen starting May for sure. We'll start rising upwards. By June or July, we'll be back at our all-time high levels. I think more likely July. And we'll be, yeah, breaking new all-time highs during July. We have M2 money supply data until July. So from there, we're not sure what exactly is going to happen. But things are pointing out right now, for example, Fed might give out more liquidity to the markets. The Fed said that if tariff inflation effect is small, which, you know, with the tariffs being on and off, and it seems like Trump knows what he's doing, it seems like that might be the case. Rate cuts could come later this year, which is bullish for Bitcoin. Rate cuts, good, right? First meeting that's coming up, May, probably not going to get a rate cut. I think last time I checked, it was something 80% chance we do nothing. So that percentage has just remained the same. The fear of recession is practically gone by now. Yeah, 80% chance we stay at nothing, 20% chance we get a rate cut. 80-20. We will for sure likely get one on June, which that would be during the market rise, but you're gonna buy the news, well, no, buy the rumor, sell the news kind of deal, right? Although I don't even think people would even sell the news, to say the least. Like if we're in the middle of June and Bitcoin is approaching all-time high levels, I don't think there's going to be that much selling. Maybe some taking profits. We do have the M2 supply chart, though, that I'll get to. I am not going to read this, but yeah, we'll get to that. Additional Fed liquidity is closer than you think. We had the news that Boston Fed president said the Fed would absolutely be prepared to use its firepower to stabilize the markets. As I mentioned, recession fears are practically gone, and, money printer coming back on if there's not that much inflation anymore. So that's pretty good. We don't got to worry about this whole tariff stuff affecting the economy. It's going to improve it. Minneapolis Fed president hinting at liquidity support due to stresses in the market. That was from recently. CPI, PPI came in much lower than expected, which is a huge win for the US economy. And although an emergency rate cut is not on the cards, it used to be, which was crazy at one point, but not anymore. Markets aren't crashing anymore. The Fed has a number of other tools at their disposal. All of these tools help increase the money liquidity, which will naturally find its way into risk assets, including Bitcoin. So, yeah, predicting a big move. We're predicting a lot of money will be inflowed into the crypto market. So that'll be important to see. MicroStrategy is not backing down. He was at risk before, of course. We know that Michael Saylor's strategy, formerly MicroStrategy, reveals that it may sell Bitcoin if the prices do plunge. But that's not the case anymore. We're not seeing Bitcoin drop like this. We're seeing Bitcoin hold steady at 84, 83, maybe 85,000, 86 on a good day. So it's looking pretty good. It's using good support as well. 82,800. Not bad. We're looking for resistances here. So yeah, 88,000 is likely our next resistance if we do break out towards the upside. I know I'm sharing a lot of good news here. Michael Saylor also just bought $290 million of Bitcoin. He mentioned this in a tweet yesterday. There's no tariffs on orange dots, which is factual, right? Why would any tariff announcements have to impact the price of Bitcoin? It should benefit it because, okay, tariffs. You got tariffs and everything's going to be more expensive now and blah, blah, blah. US dollar devalues, Chinese yuan devalues. What are you going to hold? Hold Bitcoin, something that doesn't devalue over time, right? We've seen Bitcoin's price increase over time. It's no secret. So, yeah. They now hold $44.89 billion worth of Bitcoin at an average price of $67,556. I think it was around the same, like 67 as well, before this purchase. Now, well, obviously 290 million is nothing compared to 44 billion. So, yeah, it hasn't changed the average price by much. But still, hey, 290 million inflow from MicroStrategy. That's pretty good. M2 money supply is what I was mentioning. It was increasing, right? If you use the offset of 108 days, which I'm pretty sure now everybody is using, they're noticing that that is the one that most closely resembles what we're currently seeing in the markets right now. Global liquidity climbing to unprecedented highs. If you hold crypto, it's the only thing that matters, right? Sure, there's a bit of a divergence right now that I've mentioned, right? Bitcoin's price is going up when this is supposed to stay a little bit lower, kind of what I drew over here. But we're going to meet up at some point, right? This could drop. This is rising. So we might meet around, I don't know, 81,000 maybe. Maybe we don't even drop below 80,000, or maybe we do, because we're seeing a drop over here and later on in this month, right before May, right? May, lowest point for M2 money supply. That's important. From May, you don't see Bitcoin like go further down anymore. Well, you don't. I'm saying Bitcoin, but I'm referring to the M2 money supply. If Bitcoin follows what M2 money supply does, which it has in the past, we could see Bitcoin's price rise significantly. And it makes sense because all that money, all this money, this is money, right? it takes its time. That's why it's pushed forward 108 days, and that money is going to come into Bitcoin. So yeah. Global M2 money supply versus Bitcoin continues to be bullish. Global M2 has remained at an all-time high for 3 days in a row. This is a fantastic sign for what it signals. It will be coming into risk assets in roughly 108 days, if you see the right upper corner of the chart. Look, it's even higher right now. That's crazy. This is the most up-to-date post, by the way. This is a possible dip buying opportunity. Global M2 with a 108-day offset doesn't show a blast off for another 2.5 weeks, which would take us to beginning of May, end of month of April. It actually shows a slow bleed in the next week until around April 16 or 17, if you see the pink arrow right over here. I'm just going to keep this chart open. And this is why I'm expecting a drop as well. I just feel like this scenario, similar to the scenario something will play out, right? A decay over time. We're not seeing M2 money supply increase. Okay, we are seeing it an increase, but like, it's nothing too crazy, right? And we're currently seeing a bit of a divergence right now. So yeah. I'm wondering if next week will provide us another dip buying opportunity. Yes, that is exactly what I'm thinking. Maybe we dip to below 80,000. Below 80,000, it's a good time to buy. That's what I'm going to focus on. And I will only focus on Bitcoin right now because I'm very skeptical of altcoins. But hey, maybe that's just the trader psychology. And now is the time when you should be buying altcoins. Watch, that's just going to be the case. No, but no. Nobody really knows. So this is all speculation. It's not going to be exactly the scenario that plays out. Still got to do some research. There's still macro stuff that could affect the market. Whether you like it or not, Trump's tariffs do affect the market. So we'll see how that plays out. Remember as well that the tariffs are on a pause for, what was it, 90 days? When is that? April, May, June, July. That's 90 days. According to M2 money supply, we're still making new all-time highs. So, hey, maybe something gets resolved. Maybe this whole tariff stuff just stops after the 90 days. Is like, you know what? We were able to live without these tariffs. How about we just stop tariffs in total? That could be the case. We'll never know. Doubters and flip-floppers. I see an inclination by some to shift opinion every time there's a short time frame price movement. Short time frame price movement. You should combine the two words. Global M2 is a macro chart, thus it's best to view it as such and to have patience, not to change one's analysis with each small price movement. Exactly, because like you could see this little divergence that I'm telling you guys right now and say, oh, you see this is completely wrong. No, it really isn't, right? We're still around the same. And it is supposed to just give you a macro analysis view of the chart. This is why you must zoom out in order to account for that 20% non-correlated period. Since, like I said, it has 80% correlation, 20% of the time it's not going to do what it shows, right? Which is still not bad. Not be suckered into accepting it as the average. Okay. Furthermore, we just proved over an extended period of time, several weeks, that the 108-day offset was accurate via the mini rally that fails section over here. This is when I started covering it, like at the beginning over here. Turns out the doubters were incorrect. 108 days works. Haven't seen enough proof that the 108-day offset is wrong. It's totally fine with if the offset does change, yes, and I will shift accordingly, but I'm not being too quick to jump to that conclusion. Let's give it a week or two to play out. I agree. We have to wait and see what happens during this white section over here. If it plays out accordingly, nothing too crazy happens, I think it's pretty safe to say we're just going to rise to infinity here. In summary, I wouldn't be too quick on judging the M2 offset on each short-term Bitcoin price movement. Cool. Great analysis. Nice. Ethereum, also at very low points. And Ethereum has to rise for alts to follow, right? That'll be important. Alt season will still have to come. So that's not finished yet. Bull run is not over. Bitcoin has to make its gains first. Then Ethereum will follow. Then altcoins will follow. Right now, Ethereum is at a very critically low point. We all know this. It's no surprise. 1,600. It's horrible. But hey, we were worse. 1,300. And can we drop back down there? Yeah. 1,393. I don't know. Each time, it seems like Ethereum is just making a deeper dip. It's just not stopping. But we'll see. Maybe May is the month that will change it all. We'll hope. The SEC delays staking for a grayscale spot Ethereum ETF. That's also not that great. We want the Ethereum ETFs to have their staking approved so that it would attract more buys into Ethereum. But once this does get approved, which it can, and who knows, it's getting delayed right now, but it's gonna come eventually. You can delay it, but you can't stop it. It's inevitable. It's gonna happen. Staking for spot Ethereum ETFs, it's gonna happen. So once that does get approved, we'll probably be in what, May, June, July, maybe August, mid-bull run. That'll just keep sparking things up. That could be the fundamental that'll push everything to new all-time highs. Well, I'm talking about Bitcoin all-time highs. Altcoins still have a long way, but you get the point, right? Ethereum does have to lead the way for the rest of the altcoins, and something like staking, that's a big thing that should help pump the price of Ethereum, hopefully. Sam Bankman-Fried got moved to another prison, serving 25 years for massive financial fraud. If you don't know who he is, owner of FTX, an exchange that collapsed in 2022. He was transferred after stops in Brooklyn and Oklahoma. Victorville is known for its harsh conditions. That's where he is locked up right now, in one of California's most violent prisons. So he left P. Diddy behind and is now in some weird prison with a bunch of evil dudes. Well deserved, I don't know. Scammed a lot of people. Bessent's thinking about successor for Fed. Powell will start interviewing candidates in the fall. Hey, maybe Jerome Powell gets replaced soon. That was also a big rumor. Nancy Pelosi making money. You know who else was making money? Marjorie Taylor Greene bought Apple stock on Wednesday last week. What happened this weekend? Trump announces the relief on the tariffs. Did she have insider information? Why would she buy Apple? Maybe it was a lucky buy. Who knows? But yeah, when Trump announced the tariff exemptions for China for technology stuff, of course, Apple rose today as well. So yeah, congratulations. Nice insider trade. NVIDIA also moving to America. Seems like they will be manufacturing American-made AI supercomputers in the US for the first time. Tariffs are working. That's good. Hassett is saying that there was no insider trading done at the White House. We didn't do that insider trading, even though Trump said, guys, now's a great time to buy. And 3 hours later, he announced tariff relief last week. Who knows? Earthquake. It's not an earthquake. New York, California. What? San Diego. Where was the earthquake? LA? Was there an earthquake in LA 7 hours ago? Oh, I'm probably late. Yeah, California. Cool. Well, rest in peace, and hope you guys are well. That's all we have for today. Cool. Yep, we're about to break 85,000. If we do, I'll end the stream. Did we already break 85? Could have. Can't see. Oh, this is, yeah, we did already break 85. Let me go to a smaller time frame. This is a 4-hour chart. Yeah, we literally just did 85,100. Okay, cool. Now's a great time to end the stream then. All right, fellas. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Tomorrow I won't be streaming. Day after I will. That'll be a Wednesday. What's happening on economic calendar? I don't think we're getting much important data, are we? Canada's inflation rate, not that important. Retail sales. Could give some... Oh, we're getting an interest rate decision for Canada. It's already been cut a lot of times, so yeah, it doesn't surprise me that we're not getting a rate cut this time. We're not expecting to, at least. Yeah, Trudeau's kind of tried to stimulate the economy as much as he could before leaving office, so yeah, Carney is just gonna probably play it safe. It's not like the prime ministers have any influence over the interest rate decisions or anything, but they usually brag about it when there is a rate cut, so hey. Elections are coming soon for Canada too. So yeah, that's what I mean by he's playing it safe. April 28. We got to wait until then. Pretty sure there's a debate coming up soon. So that'll be interesting to watch as well when it does come out. That's Wednesday. Nothing else happening here. Retail sales. Thursday, building permits, housing, initial jobless claims. That'll be interesting. Yeah, all of these have to do with like inflation data. Minor effects. We have some Fed speeches, Fed Bar, and Fed Dali. No Jerome Powell. Okay. Jerome Powell is the one that really matters, unless one of these guys just say something absolutely appalling. And then Friday, markets closed. Yeah, so pretty chill week this week. Oh, we did have a lot of Feds speaking. This was today. Yeah, I didn't even realize. And at late times too. 12, 1 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m. Barkin, Wilder, Harker, Bostic. Anyway, no idea who those people are. Only Jerome Powell matters. That's all I gotta care about. Alright, cool. Yeah, okay, bye for real. Thanks for